Welcome everyone here to New College today, to the School of Divinity here at the University of Edinburgh. I hope you all got here relatively safely, probably not all that dry, but thank you for coming and braving the weather. I promise it's not always like this here, so this is a freak day just for your visit today. Welcome to the Martin Hall, which is the room we're in here, which is used to be the library of New College, and that's what it was originally sort of envisaged as. But the library then moved. We got a new library building, which hopefully you'll see on a tour later today if you've booked on one of those. And it's also in here where the union between the Church of Scotland and the United Free Church was signed, supposedly in 1929. So there's a history here, also within the building, within this room, to do with the Church of Scotland. Nowadays, we use this room for lots of public events, research seminars, public lectures, things like this, like open days, to really sort of bring people into New College and have public events. My name's Peter Atkins. I'm a postdoctoral fellow here in Hebrew Bible Old Testament studies. I teach biblical Hebrew in different levels at the moment, and I'm interested in sort of environmental, ecological readings of the Bible and non-human animals in particular. And that's sort of my background of what I do here at the school. In terms of today's open day, the format will be, I'll be talking for about half an hour, give you a rough introduction to what we do here at New College, what the building is like, who we are, what we teach, those sorts of things. After that, about 11:30, then we'll have tea and coffee, and there'll be an informal Q&A. So if you've got any questions, things that have come up during the talk, or specific questions that you have not had answered, there'll be a chance to talk to me, my colleague Nathaniel, and a couple of our current students who can give you a perspective on what it's like to study here at the moment. There'll also be a couple of tours running, as I mentioned, leaving at 11:45, and that'll be half an hour, and another one at 12:15. So it'll give you a chance to look around the building in a bit more depth to see the whole building here at New College. So that's the plan. If you haven't booked to stay for coffee or anything, feel free to stay around anyway. It'd be great to meet you and to talk to you about why you're interested in theology and religious studies. So, to start with, you've probably only come here today because you've got some sort of rough interest in studying theology and religious studies anyway. But I want to think a little bit about why you might want to do that. Why should we be studying theology and religious studies in the 21st century, in 2023? I think really if I asked all of you, you might give me a slightly different answer to that question. For me, one of the real values of studying this is we get to understand and appreciate some of the enduring worldviews that are still operative in the world today. Things that motivate people, are behind why people take certain actions, why people live the way they do, but also worldviews that have shaped history, culture, societies, why we have certain texts or ideas that we work with. These are really important things that give us an insight into human society and humanity generally, what makes us human. We're sort of understanding by getting to grips with those worldviews that are behind a lot of the things that we do. And you might be coming here specifically motivated by a specific position. You might be coming from a particular religious faith background and wanting to learn more about that. You might be non-religious and wanting to understand more about what that means to be non-religious in our society. Or you may even be anti-religious and want to know about positions that aren't yours in order to sort of deconstruct them or problematize them or prove them wrong. All of those are great reasons to come and study theology and religious studies. But to do that, to sort of have that interest in those positions, we need to study these worldviews. We need to understand these positions. Because it's only in doing that that you can really appreciate how you see the world, where you're coming from, where other people are coming from, and be able to work with other people and empathize with them. A lot of these skills, empathy, persuasion, analysis, interpretation, are really valuable skills within our current society, and employers are looking for those skills in various different professions today. So that's probably what I think TRS, Theology of Religious Studies, is really still valuable for us to be looking at especially within the academy. So presuming, therefore, you're on board with this, you want to look at theology or religious studies in some way, why here? Why come to Edinburgh specifically to do that? I don't want to suggest that Edinburgh is the only place you should think about or give you a hard sell on why this is the only place to come to in the UK, because there are other great centres of theological learning within the UK. But we do have quite a special place here at New College, and I want to just sort of tell you a little bit about why I think it's special to come here to study theology. Principally, I think one of our assets is the building, which is an iconic building within the Edinburgh skyline. I know I was really impressed coming in the first time thinking, oh, this is where I'm going to be studying. And so it's a great, real asset to us as a School of Divinity. We recently had our 175th anniversary, so it's been, New College has been here since 1846, and we had all sorts of celebrations to mark that occasion. Importantly, all our academic staff are based here, so their offices are within New College, so it's really easy to get hold of staff if you need to ask them questions or you need to meet with them. And all your teaching tends to happen here in New College too, in rooms like the Martin Hall or other ones which you'll see if you take a tour of the building. So everything happens here. We're very much focused within the same place. So if you're interested in theology and religious studies, it all happens within the same building, which is a great way of keeping us all together and helping us study together. We're also one of the best places within the country, consistently ranked highly by various different metrics. We're currently 4th place in the UK Complete University Guide, so amongst the very best places you can think about studying this discipline. And this really reflects not only student satisfaction, their sort of experience of the course, also the research quality and what people do afterwards, how they graduate and where they go on to. Those all impact our position within the UK as being one of the leaders. So we're really academically rigorous. We're also academically innovative, so we like to push boundaries and pursue different areas of research that society is thinking about that maybe haven't thought about. And that impacts the teaching that we offer. So a lot of the courses are impacted by the specialisms of the staff members we have, looking at those areas and the current developments happening there. We have quite a large school. So there are over 40 different academic staff researching, teaching and otherwise here at the school. So it means we've got a huge range of different courses based on those specialisms that are being offered here. Having said that, the classes are also quite intimate. They're not huge classes where there's hundreds of students and you kind of get lost. In actual fact, it's kind of intimate. You get to know the other students. It means you get to know the lecturers quite well who are teaching you. And so it really feels like you can come and talk to me if you want to, if you've got a question about something. We're always happy to have those discussions. On the flip side, it's also a big school. We've got 40 staff running lots of different courses. There's over 500 people within the New College community. So if you're in a small class and you don't like those people, well, there's also tons of other people studying here you can get to know, chat with and discuss. So you don't feel like you're going to have to be sort of cocooned into this small group that you're only going to get to know. New College is a big place as well. In terms of career prospects, I know it's not always something students like to think about as they come in to start studying. But I know parents often get worried about that, studying the humanities in particular. I know there can be some concern. But an Edinburgh degree really is a very valuable thing going into the job market. It's something that employers know is a sort of a hallmark of academic excellence, that you've been to Edinburgh and you have got that degree. And our graduates go on to a range of different things, which I will talk about a little later. In terms of the city, so why Edinburgh? That's the school, but the city itself is also a great place to study. Globally, it's recognised as one of the best places to be a student. So we're currently 16th in the QS Best Student City for 2024 survey, which might not sound great, but that's globally. That's incorporating all university cities across the globe. And within the UK, Edinburgh is only second to London in that degree. And it's because we've really got so much going on here. Not only just at the Divinity School or the university, but within the city generally, we have obviously Hogmanay and the New Year celebrations, Christmas markets, street performances. There's the Fringe Festival in the summer, where we get comedians and performers. Basically on every street corner there's something happening. And that all means there's loads of different venues in the city for these things to take place. And they're obviously there all year round. So there's loads of clubs, bars, etc. you might want to go along to. Lots of performances and productions year round to get involved in. So that's what's happening at the moment. It's also a historic city, and we're very lucky to be here on the mound in the heart of the old part of Edinburgh. Just a short walk to the castle, St Giles Cathedral, all sorts of different historic places up here. And it's very fun to wander down the street and find out what happened here and who wrote something here, etc. And you very quickly get sort of wrapped up in the history of Edinburgh too. If you're worried about connections, I know some people might be coming from further afield or South England, but it feels like it's a long way up here. We're very well serviced with connections. The train line usually runs really smoothly, maybe not today, but that's only a short walk away, and you can get a tram to Edinburgh Airport really quickly to then fly to other places too. So we're not completely unconnected, we're really connected to the rest of the UK and rest of the world really easily. Finally, the last thing to say about Edinburgh is sort of our theological connections. So you may have seen as you came into New College this statue of John Knox in the Quad, the great Protestant reformer of the 16th century, who was preaching and working around in Edinburgh and is buried just near St Giles Cathedral. So we've got this heritage of sort of theological discussion and progress happening in Edinburgh, and here in particular. And we've still got good connections with the Church of Scotland. Their General Assembly Hall is attached to New College, and we often have events of our own held in there. So the opening lecture of the year, a carol concert we have within the Assembly Hall. So we have close ties to various different sort of theological aspects. So that's Edinburgh. What do we offer? If you're going to decide this is the place for you, if that's something you decide, what could you do? What would your degree be like? Well, there are three main single honours pathways you might choose. There's the MA in Religious Studies, which is typically focused on a non-confessional study of religion, looking at one or two traditions in depth, and you have certain choices of courses to do along those kinds of lines. There's the MA in Theology, which is more focused on theology, which is typically a more confessional study of religion within a tradition, and you're studying what can that tradition do, and the course is designed with choices to help you do that. And finally, there's also the BD, or Bachelor of Divinity, and this has been originally designed for those going into ministry or thinking about going into ministry, to help prepare them for that. But increasingly, people who aren't doing that are also taking the BD course, going into things like the military or government public service or chaplaincy, things like that. So that might also be something you're thinking about doing. Each of those three single honours courses are 4 years, so it's an undergraduate master's, and you have, it's sort of split into two halves. The first 2 years are pre-honours courses, which are more introductory in scope. You're sort of being introduced to these wider topics, texts, traditions, etc. And then in the second half of your degree, the final 2 years are honours degree courses, and these are more advanced, geared towards getting you to independently study these things and become a thinker in your own right, understanding, unpacking, interrogating these traditions. The one exception is the BD, which can be done as a 3-year, which would be a general degree, which you wouldn't have to do so many honours courses. And you wouldn't have to do a dissertation, which is required for the three single honours masters MA courses. As well as these single honours, you could also choose to do a joint honours degree. And so we work closely with other schools offering things that people quite often like to study. So we've got quite a good offering within the School of Divinity of the connections between literature and religion and how those two things intersect. And because of that, we offer degree level courses in a intersection with the literatures department. So if you wanted to look at Scottish or English literature, you can do a course, a degree programme specifically designed to study those things. Similarly, you can do the same thing with classics. If you're interested in the Greco-Roman world and its relationship to religion, or philosophy and religion, looking at those two intersections. If you're interested in the philosophy of religion, that might be something you want to have a think about. Each of those, you have to take equal amounts of courses from each school. So half of your time would be here doing our courses, half of the time would be in a separate school. But it gives you that flexibility to look at various different things. So there are the programs on the left. On the right are some examples of the individual courses that you would take to make up that degree program. And we have quite, as I've said, quite a big range of different courses that you can take. There's some examples on there. Because we've got such a big range of specialisms, the courses do change from year to year. If something else is particularly relevant at any one point, we do often update our course program. But we tend to interrogate main kind of areas. We have biblical studies, which is what I teach, looking at the Old and New Testaments. There's courses on Islam, its relationship to Christianity and to Judaism, courses on science and religion and literature, the history of Christianity, world religion, and Buddhism as well. A huge range of courses, and that's the general areas where we have courses on offer. So, those are the different courses you could choose. Those are the different programs you could choose. That would be what your general degree experience would be like. Within those courses, you're taught in two main different ways. So I mentioned these pre-honours and honours years, the first two and the second 2 years. In those first 2 years, your courses are primarily lecture-based. You'll have 3 one-hour lectures a week for that course, where the lecturer will do what I'm doing now, introduce you to a topic, tell you the basic information, give you a basic grounding in that area, with some engagement questions, discussions, but mainly based on a lecture. And then there's a 1-hour tutorial, also that same week, about a more in-depth area of that topic. So you'll get to really look at a specific text or a specific issue or a way of thinking about that area in more detail. And you'll unpack that with a specific tutor or lecturer in a smaller group to help you start developing your own academic voice, your own views, your opinions, and thinking about those in relation to other people's views and perspectives. So that helps you start developing your engagement. And in those second 2 years, those honours years, we then have courses based very much on seminars. So instead of having 3-hour lectures, you have 1 2-hour seminar each week for a specific course. And in that, there is still some engagement from the lecturer. You'll still get introduced to a topic, you'll still get to discuss it, but it's more focused on your prior engagement. There'll be more preparation, and you come with your ideas, your understanding of that topic. And it's much more focused on you as an independent learner, beginning to build up your own views and perspectives. And by that point, hopefully, we can get some really good learning and development of your perspective on these things. Yes, so that's the main types of teaching we do. And then in terms of assessment, you've done your lectures, you've had your seminars. The main ways traditionally you would be assessed at university is have a final exam and everything you've learned is assessed, and you might have an essay in the middle of it to test what you've been learning. We still have courses that offer that, so if that's something that works well for you academically, then that's great, and you can really prosper in that way. But a number of courses also offer various different assessments. So some pre-honours courses will have more regular sort of journal entry type assessments or blogs that you write to help you progress your writing over time, get regular feedback and develop for the next time. So you're not just assessed at the end when you may have been cut completely loose and you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that doesn't happen. We don't want that to happen. There are some more specific assessment types we do. If you're doing a language course, for instance, you might have a specific language skills test in the middle or during your course. If you're doing field work and you're going to see a religious community or something along those lines, you might have to write up a report about that and be assessed on that too. There's also, each course offers formative assessment. So we want to see how you're doing and mark you, and you obviously get a grade at the end. But we also want to help you develop. So in each course, there's a chance for you to submit something to your lecturer, get feedback, get an understanding of where you are. Doesn't count towards the course mark, But then you can go, and the one that does count, you've already had some experience of what is expected, how are they going to give you feedback, what can I do that's better. Our assessment's always guided towards improving and developing and helping you to become a better scholar of theology or religion. That's the assessment. If we move away slightly from this academic, the course-based stuff, what's going to happen on the main parts of your degree? Outside, you might need extra support. You might need extra support for your assessments, your course, your personal life, etc. during your degree. And here at New College, we've got various different support systems for you as you're thinking about your degree. So we have a few student advisors who can help you with any non-academic aspects of your degree. So things like the online learning space isn't working, you're not sure about how to submit your essay, or something like that. There are people you can talk to about those questions. We also have a well-being advisor, so if there are any health or well-being issues impacting your studies or affecting you at any moment, there is someone you can talk to here in New College itself. You haven't got to go wandering around the city to find someone, there's someone here for that. And of course, if you've got academic issues, all the lecturers are very happy to meet with you, talk with you after class, or arrange specific discussions if you're not sure on a topic or something wasn't clear, or if you want to pursue something further. We're always very happy to do that and just get you, furthering your own ability in the discipline. In terms of careers, we also have a careers advisor who comes here once a month. We just drop-in sessions, you don't have to book, just turn up and you can talk to someone about anything to do with your career ideas. Whether that's post-university, you want to do a part-time job to help you at university, anything like that, there's someone you can go to discuss those things with. Probably our biggest asset here at the school is our library, which again, hopefully you'll get to see. And this is one of the largest theological holdings within the UK. So a really great place to just sit and study, being in this lovely environment. But also has so many books relevant to your courses or your study, again, just within the same building. So you don't have to go far to find the resources you might need. We've got pretty much everything you might need here in the New College Library. And if that's not enough, you can go to the main university library where there's over 2,000 workspaces. It's open 24/7, so you can just go in and sit there if you want to do that instead. Finally, just a quick word on equality and diversity. It's something very important to us here at New College, is making sure, whoever you are, whatever background, however you identify, that you can come here, study theology and religious studies, and feel included. We have a dedicated equality, diversity and inclusion director, one of our members of staff, and they have a committee who regularly put on events and put on training for staff members and for students to help develop their own awareness of these kinds of issues. So there are hopefully no barriers that we are not trying to tackle here in New College too. So we want to make sure everyone feels like you can come and you can study, and we're going to work with you to the best of your ability. I suppose a reflection of that is we were awarded the Athena Swan Silver Award in 2018, which reflects gender inclusivity. And we were the first theology faculty in the UK to get that. So it kind of demonstrates our commitment to making sure people feel included here. You can come here and you won't be discounted. So that's the support kind of networks that we have available to you as students here. As well as the teaching and academic side, New College is also a hub for student life generally. We have research seminars, public lectures. If you're interested in going deeper into some of these of your studies, there are loads of events going on with the academic staff here presenting their research, world-leading research, but also lots of internationally recognised or international academics who come here to present their research because we're a recognised school for theological study. So some people you're studying may end up coming here and you can hear them present their research firsthand. We also have various book launch events. So again, as staff members publish books, we have an event to celebrate that, and you can come along, find out what's happening and pick up a copy of their book if that's something you're keen on. Perhaps the main place where we have this sort of environment of community here at New College is in Rainey Hall, which is just down the corridor, and hopefully the tours will take you down there later. And this is where people will just come and meet. There's tables and chairs. You can grab a cup of coffee. There's a cafe in there, get lunch, and sit and just chat. Students and staff often go in there just to meet, to talk about things or academic things if you want, and just connect with people. And if you don't have any friends, if you're just starting, we also have things like Cafe Connect, which is a regular slot where you can turn up, other people will be there, and you can just chat with people who also want to get to know people. So it's a real place to sort of foster community within New College. We also then have loads of events in Rainey Hall. So in the day, it's a cafe, it's a meeting place, but we also have lots of events. In Welcome Week, there's a ceilidh to get people sort of informally get together to sort of celebrate the start of the year. We then have lots of other things. There's like a Christmas meal, an Eid celebration, Thanksgiving dinner, Burns Night Supper, all sorts of events that we put on, again, to get staff and students together, and that happens in Rainey Hall. Having said that, we also have larger things, so the Christmas Carol service, that's in the Assembly Hall of the Church of Scotland, just connected to our building. And there's also a weekly communion service, an ecumenical communion service, which is another way we try and build community for people from different religious backgrounds. And finally, as you finish your degree, we have an annual grad ball. So those students who are finishing, you've got to your 4th year, submitted your dissertation, will have a chance to have a formal dinner, have some dancing, have a celebration to mark the end of your degree journey. So we really want to celebrate you as you've sort of gone through the whole process of studying here with us at New College. So every part of the way, hopefully, there'll be some way for you to get to know other people within the Divinity School. So that brings us to the end of your, I suppose, journey here at the Divinity School. I know you haven't even necessarily decided to come here, but if you do, and then you end up leaving, what do our students do? What would you do if you then studied here and left? And of course, there's the usual things you might think about. Lots of our students decide to continue studying here, doing postgraduate study, which is always great because we get to see you a little bit more and help you develop a little bit more your own understanding of religions and theologies. Some people do teaching qualifications and go into school teaching. Some people into ministry. That's why we have the BD degree to help people go down that route. But some other more left field options. Some people go into things like journalism and law, using these skills of persuasion, of careful writing, of analysis, and understanding other people, writing and presenting things in those ways. This degree really equips you to do that. Obviously, research, that's something that's integral to what we do anyway, but research centres, thinking about the way public are thinking about things, those sort of think tank areas. Publishing, to do with books, that's what we do, and lots of people here publish, and so there's a keen awareness of that you'll pick up over your degree. And then the voluntary sector is a big place to go as well. Lots of our students go into charity work because you're understanding where people are coming from, what backgrounds people are or what people are struggling with, you know, what's going on in people's lives. This degree kind of equips you to go there too. And finally, some of our students go into things like comedy or acting or screenwriting or the arts, which might seem kind of strange. You do a theology degree and you go into comedy. But again, it's using those skills of, you know, a joke only works if you know where someone's coming from, what they're going to find funny. And so understanding those things helps you, again, to go into those kind of fields. So that's what you might end up doing if you did a degree here and went on to progress your career somewhere. That's all really from me. I hope that's given you a rough kind of sketch of what we do here, what life would be like here if you decided to study here.